And the Oscar goes to The King's Speech.
The Artist.
Argo.
12 Years a Slave. Birdman.
Spotlight.
Moonlight. Best Picture.
The Shape of Water.
Green Book.
Parasite.
What you just saw are the winners of Best Pictures at the Oscars over the last 10 years. That's the amount of years I've been accompanying this ceremony. The Academy Awards, most well known as the Oscars, is a ceremony held at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, LA. Presented by the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Science, it awards artistic and technical merit in the film industry within their 24 categories. The first Academy Award was presented on May 16, 1929, and since then it has held 92 ceremonies, with the 93 happening this year on April 25, 2021.
Now, as someone who loves watching movies and is an aspiring filmmaker, I do enjoy being part of the conversation and talking about the films. The Oscars are a pretty big subject talked about in the film community during award seasons, whether being because of the usual snubs, the controversies, or just the nominees itself and what do we think of them. But over the past few years, the meaning of this award has changed for me. What once was something I was admired about, it became something that I still enjoy it, but I understand better nowadays. And now I'm going to explain why. I divided this into 3 chapters, so let's start with how it started. My dad is a big movie buff, so growing up, every time the award seasons came in, he would try to catch up on all the nominated movies, just so he could have an opinion on which one he thought was the best and which one would probably win. That's the way I was introduced to the Oscars and award seasons in general. I've been accompanying the Oscars since 2011. That's when I started watching more seriously. Though, before that, I was already a kid who would enjoy going to their local blockbuster just to rent a movie, and while I was there, I would always look for new picks to add to my watch list. My own growing watch list. Because being someone who loves movies is that's what happens. You always have an enormous watch list. I would always check the special features on the DVDs before returning them, just to see how the magic of what I just watched was made. You guys remember DVDs, right? DVD players? I'm getting old, clearly. Anyways, in 2011, great movies were nominated like Inception, Black Swan, and The Social Network. Those were the ones who made more impact on me that year. Being an 11-year-old, I watched these movies with my parents, because clearly I wasn't aged enough to watch them on my own, despite me believing that I was. And seeing these movies was insane. I may not have understood everything he was trying to portray because of my age, but I do remember that the experience itself was mind-blowing in a way. That reminds me, I need to rewatch these movies now that I'm older, just to get a new perspective. It was different from everything that I saw up to that point. Before that, it was mostly animated movies, adventure movies, rom-coms, which I enjoyed a lot, you know, I was a kid. But after being presented to this world, I started loving drama movies. Now we're going to the next chapter, what it meant. Moving forward, I will be excited for award seasons every year. To watch a ceremony where they celebrate movies, it's a special time. For a moment, in the whole world, people are talking and share their thoughts about this one thing in common, and my teen self will be thrilled about it. My favorite categories are acting, directing, screenplays, original score, costume design, animated feature, international feature film, documentary feature, and the big finale, Best Picture. I find editing and cinematography interesting as well. Because of how getting a nomination is viewed, I genuinely believe that every movie they chose for Best Picture was the best choice. That from all the movies in the whole world, those were the ones who deserved to get nominated. I thought they would choose these movies based on how good they were. I didn't know that behind all that there were situations that involve campaigning or things like Oscar bait movies. Once you realize that, you start to get more of a sense of how things work. At the time, I used to believe that getting to the Oscars was the ultimate prize, that to be there would mean that I made it, like an achievement of sorts. I would see a glamorized version of myself, that even with all the obstacles, I got there and my movie was recognized for being good. It's the dreamer effect. It's inspiring and awesome, but it's not all there is. While you grow up, things change, which leads us to the last chapter, what it means now. Nowadays, I don't see the Oscars as an achievement anymore. I believe that getting one can be important for your career, but it's not something to aim for and live just for that. Being able to work in the film industry and doing what you love, it's already a much bigger achievement. The Oscars are an award show that it's fun to watch, to talk about and to be a part of the community, to predict and to see who will actually win, to appreciate for what it is. But once you start developing your own personal taste, you realize that not everything they nominate will make sense to you. Like many award shows, a lot of people get mad at nominations, since they tend to leave out great artists. They will choose some movies who are actually great, some who even may be masterpieces, but they also will choose movies that are just okay. With streaming options increasing more and more, there's so much to explore outside the Oscar-nominated movies. The possibilities can be endless, which lead us to having more opinion and knowing what's good and what's not. Every year there's a movie on the list that makes you confused why it's there. It makes you think, there are so many other options and you went with this one? Like me, I would have loved to see a nomination go this year to Never Release Sometimes Always or Palm Springs. Still, it goes beyond our taste and likes. There's a whole industry behind that. They try to give some recognition to movies that do deserve more, but things like marketing and policy gets in the way, unfortunately. Awards are a big form of recognition, and the feeling of finding out that you are nominated for one must be crazy good. But most movies are not made with the intuition of getting nominated. They're made because the people who worked on it believe in their project so much and made the best they could to bring it to life, from the many forms of art inside filmmaking. It's that passion, that dedication to it, that makes the movie magic experience happen. At the end, I'm still learning what it means to be a filmmaker and how to make movies. But what I've learned so far is that the things that matter the most are to be happy with what you make, to create art that inspires you and hopefully can inspire others, to keep learning, to give a chance to what you want to do, even if it looks hard to achieve. Take that first step and see how it goes. And most simply, to add a part of you inside this crazy world. Cause there's no one like you, baby. That was cringy, but hey, I mean it. I know making movies is not easy. It's a lot of work, it takes a lot of people to make it, and the process can take years. But the day one of my movies is put out there for the world to see, I know I'll be happy already just to be able to have made it, worked on it, and share with the world. And if it's able to impact someone like a lot of movies did for me, I know I have done something right. Me making YouTube videos is already a big step I took. I used to go back and forth about the idea, think it would get in the way of my real goal, but that was just a wall I was putting in front of myself. I'm glad that this year I went out of my little box of thoughts and started doing it. I love coming up with ideas and working on them to make them real. Creating art always made me happy, and having a platform to share these creations, it's great. It's a way of showing a little bit of me to the world. It's something that if I just wait until I'm able to make and release a movie, I will probably miss on a lot of things. So thank you. Thank you for watching what I make and taking interest in it. I appreciate it a lot. I know I still have a long way to go, but I'm happy to be able to take and enjoy this ride. So thanks for watching my commentary, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!